Ladies and gentlemen, K Kim here. Welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading today. Market is up 0.2%, actually 2%, not 0.2%. On the S&P, Nasdaq up 3%. Semiconductor made 5% move today, led the entire market. Again, semiconductor has been on fire last couple of years, trumping the main indices such as S&P 500, Nasdaq, and Dow Jones Industrial after 2 years in a row. Semiconductors up close to 40% year to date, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq is around 25 or so. And you think after that kind of move, semiconductor will slow down, but today it continues to flex its muscle there. Dow 1.3, small caps up 2.3% there, transport 1%. Banks 2%, along with the energy. Biotech's up 4% today. Biotech's been lagging, going through difficult times this year. Hopefully, we can see some brighter days for biotech next year. Healthcare up about 1.29%. Same with the home builders. Utilities up a little bit. Retail 2.9%. Emerging markets similar there. Bitcoin caught a little bit, 5% positive. Gold, silver miners are up a little bit today. Dollar's flat, oil's up 2%, treasury bond red. VIX got hammered today with the equities being up today. Let's do the S&P 500 ETF. Spider, 65-minute chart. Here, so this is where we closed yesterday, and this is where we open today. That's a massive gap up there. That's a big size gap up. And then we see that follow through on the first hour and then second hour. And then we just kind of been lagging on because all the move has been made on the first hour after the gap up. Good news about this move today is the fact that this gap has been sustained. It means that gap has not been filled. But buyers don't been doing this the entire year this year and last year since COVID, where every time it kind of get to that level where, you know, there's a resistance level that everybody's anticipating. You can see there's tankage here every time I hit that resistance, not to mention my short-term moving average guiding. And every time we hit that short-term moving average, we see the tankage in the price action. You know what the buyers do? They're like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with the resistance. I'm going to jump over this fence so I don't even have to deal with it. And then what they do is they just jump over it, reclaiming the short-term moving average, reclaiming the resistance, and just kind of making that into a most smoothest transition possible, which is gapping up. And then seeing that follow through and holding up all day long. This is a best case scenario for the bulls, what we witnessed today. But you know, we talked about this on the weekend video, looking at things in the long term, that do not let this market bully you around. Bears been calling the top every time we see couple percent corrections, every time we see there's some kind of shenanigans. So many people are quick to say, this is it, game over, this is a top. Months and months and months and months. This year, 2021, is the year to eradicate, to completely destroy all of those people calling the top, missing out big moves, missing the opportunities, burning through hedges and shorts, and markets continue to make their lives miserable. And this is the reason why we want to understand the big picture and do not get too intimate with the short-term fluctuations. And all of this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is a short-term fluctuation. So it looks like last hour, though, we did see a little bit of, fluctuations right there. You can see that lower wick right there. So on that last hour, a little bit of pullback, but that was a prior peak right there, 466.45. prior peak, prior swing high acting as new support, right? And then price gotten right back up, kind of closed the day at the highs of the day, which is around, what is it, 468.28. That's where it closed. And so, bulls did a really good job not giving anything away after today's move. And with all this move, we have now reclaimed the short-term moving average and also the mid-term moving average. And all these peaks here, these lower highs here, all of that pretty much has been reclaimed. Now we can say for the first time that this right here, that's definitely a higher high now. So buyers are now, and we got the low, subtle higher high, subtle higher low, and buyers are cultivating its own uptrend. So going into tomorrow, remainder of this week, what the bulls need to do is obviously to protect this gap here. Should there be any kind of short-term fluctuations going into next week, definitely 464.38 is a level to protect. The worst case scenario, I think if bulls can at least protect, right? Worst case, at least protect half of this gap, make sure half of it open. Even if bears come down and fill half of it and kind of retest that short-term moving average, that's okay. We can still keep that momentum going. So it would be better if bulls can protect, if not all of this gap here, 50% or all of this gap. And obviously, bulls gonna go after new all-time highs, and he's gonna find a way. And that's something we talked about this when we saw that bullish divergence occurring here. And this is something that we've been talking about all last week, that it was peculiar to all of us that, hey man, we're seeing all these downturns, continue to see these lower highs and lower lows, the pressure in the price. I mean, some of these days were like just for hours, entire days of tankage. And this also is so adamant, it just will not see the move to the downside. It will just kind of hang around. And I've labeled this activities as a bullish divergence. And with that, if we see the bullish divergence playing out, with the oscillator breaking out with confident advancement and separation, buyers are going to find a way to make a move to the upside because we're an overall uptrend. We're talking midterm and long term, right? We need to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers in overall trend. Sure, in the short term, things are a little bit hacked in a couple of days or so, but you see how quickly that sentiment changed. And this been the same story this entire year. And if you haven't learned to look at the big picture, every single correction you've been calling the top, no one else's fault, right? It's no one else's fault. It is yours alone to be able to, not able to respect this trend that we're in. And at some point, yes, we're going to have a big correction. At some point, I still believe that. But none of us knows. Why? I don't know why some people think that they can see the future. Because I certainly can't. So what I do, and people always say that, okay, you called it. I didn't call anything really. All I've been doing is I just been simply respecting the overall trend and sticking with that probability, understanding the trend is assumed to be in effect until it gives us a clear signal that it has been reversed. For me to fully understand the micro term, minor term, short term, mid-term, intermediate, long-term, primary, macro, and secular, this short-term fluctuation, especially somebody like me who's a long-term investor and a position trader, these little short-term fluctuations doesn't really mean much to me. And that's why it's much, much easier for me to kind of analyze these trivial up and down shenanigan moves. It's almost, sometimes it gets actually more exciting a lot of times versus if you're all, because I see so much tremble and fear and aggravation and market can sniff that shit out. I talked about this before, man. If you're in a desperate, needy situation, market can sniff this shit out, and it's gonna chew you up into a million pieces. and like spit you out like you're nothing worse than nothing. You're worse than a dirt, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So going into tomorrow and this week, what the Bulls need to do. We're pretty much there. I mean, Bulls really brought it up, and so that's what Bulls needed to do. You see some of these levels where buyers are not able to bring that oscillator all the way to the top of it. And you see that? You see that when we see that, you start to see that there's a momentum starting to kind of lose a little bit, and you can see buyers really pretty much pushed it all the way to the top of his band. And last time when we saw something like that, that was right here, and there's a gap up right here also above the short-term moving average. And that was about a month or so, month and a half of bullish uptrend. So if everything goes according to this technical picture and a posture that we see, I think we can expect Santa rally happening this year until mid next year. I'll come back for you. We'll reassess the situation. Enjoy your evening and good luck trading tomorrow.